Daily Heavenly Manna, September 21st. The chosen text from Psalms 23, verses 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Explanation. The sheep of the little flock fear no evil because of the Lord's favor, because He is with them, on their side, and has shown His favor in the redemption price already paid. He is with them, too. In His word of promise, His assurance that death shall not mean extinction of life, but merely until the resurrection. And disturbed sleep is Jesus. What wonder that these can walk through the valley of the shadow of death, singing and making melody in their hearts to the Lord, calling upon their souls with all that is written them to praise and loud and magnify His great and holy name, who loved us and brought us with His precious blood and has called us to joint heirship with our dear Redeemer. Reprint number 3269. Amen.
Okay, welcome everyone. For this deep dive, we're looking at a really interesting piece of devotional material. It's titled Daily Heavenly Manna, September 21. And it focuses squarely on Psalm 23, verse 4. You know the one. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil.
A classic verse.
Absolutely. And our mission today is really to unpack the logic this text uses. What are the specific reasons, the promises it gives for why someone shouldn't fear evil, especially death?
Right. And it's quite specific. This isn't just saying don't be afraid. It's providing almost a theological framework, a security system, you might say, based on divine assurance.
The security system, I like that. So the source talks about the little flock, right? Those who follow this teaching.
Yes, that's the term it uses.
So why exactly, according to this text, does this little flock have zero fear? What are the pillars holding up this fearlessness?
Okay, yeah. The source gives basically three core reasons. They kind of interlock. First, it's about presence. The text emphasizes He is actively with them, on their side. It's immediate,
Right, not distant. He's with them. Okay, what's second?
Second is the foundation, maybe the legal basis. It's the redemption price already paid.
Ah, so like a debt cleared.
Exactly. Paid in full. There's nothing outstanding, spiritually speaking. No lingering debt to worry about.
Presence.
Yeah.
Payment was the third pillar.
The third is the promise. Specifically, the promise found in His word that death, well, it doesn't mean lights out. It's not the end of life, not extinction.
Okay, presence, payment, promise. That makes sense as a security system against guilt or loneliness, maybe. But you mentioned redefining death. That's huge. If you, listening, are scared of that finality, how does this text shift that?
It tackles the idea of finality head on. Death isn't framed as like a punishment or an ending. The language used is actually quite comforting.
How so?
It calls it merely an undisturbed sleep in Jesus.
Sleep.
Yeah, just sleep. And crucially, it's temporary. It only lasts until the resurrection. So it transforms death from this terrifying final judgment into, well, a rest stop.
A rest stop. That's quite a reframe. But, the idea of sleep until resurrection isn't unique. Lots of theologies touch on that.
It's true. It's a known concept.
So what makes this source's take different in practice? If death is just a nap, how does that actually change how the flock behaves when they are facing that valley?
Well, that's where it gets really practical and maybe radical. The source suggests a complete change in behavior.
How so? Not just quiet acceptance.
No, far from it. It says they can walk through that valley singing and making melody in their hearts.
Singing through the valley of the shadow of death.
Yes, praising the name of the one who, as the text puts it, loved us and bought us with His precious blood. Their security, built on those three pillars, leads to praise, not fear.
Wow.
And it connects this back to their status. They've been called to joint heirship with our dear Redeemer.
Okay, so let's sort of bring this together for you listening.
Yeah.
The core idea here seems to be this synthesis. You have the certainty that the price is paid, plus the assurance that death is just temporary sleep.
Right.
And combining those transforms, potentially the biggest human fear death, into a reason for praise, for gratitude.
Exactly. It flips the script entirely, which actually brings up a really interesting point to think about further.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
when the text describes the ultimate outcome, the highest achievement, as joint heirship with our dear Redeemer, that phrase, joint heirship, it sounds quite specific, almost legal.
Like inheriting something together.
Precisely. So the question it leaves us with is, what exactly does that imply? What specific responsibilities or maybe privileges does the source suggest come with being a joint heir? It seems to point towards something more complex than just comfort in death. What else is involved in that status?